When the gang gathered last night, getting this room ready for you, the air wall was up here, and there wasn't room for all of you and all of this. And the contract that they'd signed clearly stated that there were to be 400, but a lot of you made the decision at the last minute. Did you notice? Over 100 of you made the decision at the last minute. And so here's the condition. What we planned for and those who are coming are a very different number. So the condition clearly was not pleasing. Now, everyone knows that it's possible to squeeze you all in. Now you look at it, though, it doesn't really look as possible as it looked last night, did it? There is this square dance area up here that could have been utilized, but for the most part, the room was not big enough. It had not been planned to be big enough because you were underestimated in your enthusiasm for this gathering. So there was a condition that had to be reconciled, and it had to be reconciled at the last minute. There wasn't time to go sit by the beach and think pleasant thoughts about the dolphins. And Esther is thinking, Abraham's going to talk all day long about unconditional love. I know they are. And here we are in a condition that we do not love. And we cannot take our attention away from the condition because we are up against it. And that's what happens to you sometimes, isn't it? Is that you walk into a situation that is the result of the momentum that has been moving along. And now you're standing there in the middle of it. And if you are like most humans, you respond to the condition. But here's the thing that matters most. What do you do next? Someone said the other day, Abraham, how does one? She meant, how do I? But how does one? I have a friend. How does one get rid of doubt? And we said, you get rid of it before you get it, which is totally annoying. Because once you've got it, Abraham, you squirrely ghost. How do you get rid of doubt? Well, doubt is the way you feel when you're focused upon something and have been for a while that you believe that is contrary to who you really are and what you really want. All negative emotion means exactly that. Your life has caused you to expand into a new vibrational becoming. How do those words set with you? Do you like knowing that you are constantly becoming something that is more? But the tricky thing about that is, since you are constantly becoming something that is more, you've got to vibrationally figure out how to vibrationally keep up with what you have vibrationally become. Did we mention that you're vibrational? In other words, you cannot expand as life will constantly cause you to do and not keep up with your own expansion and feel good at the same time. So you have to care about the way you feel. That's the way you keep up with your expansion. But caring about the way you feel means doing something about the way you feel regardless of the condition. And that's where the term unconditional love comes in. Humans have been using the phrase for a very long time, and hardly any of you really understand what it means. You think unconditional love means look at some rascal who is really behaving in a bad way and just don't say anything about it. Don't rat him out. Don't talk to somebody else about him. Don't get him fired. Just love him unconditionally as you despise his behavior and most other things about him. And we say, that's maybe what you might call tolerance. In other words, you're putting up with it. You're not freaking out about it, but it is not unconditional, because this condition that you are focused upon is an opinion that differs from the opinion that the source within you holds about it, because the source within you is holding an unconditional point of view. Well, before this day is over, you're going to understand completely why we, from source, are able to hold things from an unconditional viewpoint. We'll give you a statement that you may be ready to receive, and then we'll fill in the gaps as we continue over the next few hours. But the reason that we are able to focus upon any situation unconditionally is because the current conditions, or the what isness of whatever it isness, doesn't mean diddly squatness. In other words, what is doesn't matter, because what is only a temporary reflection of the vibration that you got going on. So we want to explain to you what we mean. You were source energy before you came into this physical body. And a part of you is focused here in this physical body, but a larger part of you is still non-physically focused. You are source energy, and a part of that source energy is focused here and now. So in your human form, you sift through, you know what you don't want, you know what you do want, you continue to sift through the data, and you constantly, whether you know you are doing it or not, are launching rockets of desire. We call them rockets of desire. They're your personal preferences. When someone's rude, you want them to be nicer. When you're rude, you want to be nicer. When you don't have enough money, you want more money. In other words, life just causes you to sift and sort and launch these rockets. So this vibrational becoming is happening constantly. And it is a vibrational becoming. Now, it hasn't manifested yet, therefore it's unconditional. You see what we're getting at? It hasn't manifested into conditions for you to observe. It hasn't manifested into a condition that is unpleasant or into a condition that is pleasant. It's a vibrational rocket of desire that has created. If you've been listening to us for a while, you've seen all of our creative ways of trying to explain to you this stuff that is not physical into this, what we've been calling a vibrational reality. We even gave it the name of a vortex. It's this vibrational state of being that is the precursor to everything else that is coming for you. So this vibrational state of being, which is where your inner being stands, it's where we stand, it's who you really are, has not yet manifested. It has become in terms of an idea. It has become in terms of a hope or a dream. There's enough in your vortex to keep you busy for 20 or 30 lifetimes. In other words, it is the beginning of that which you are. And you know that vortex existed before you were even born into your physical body, because there was a projection of intention from non-physical. There was a vibrational reality that had so much to do about you before you were even born into this physical body. Do you see what we're getting at? This vibrational precursor of that which is you. It was like the vibrational plan. It was like the vibrational probability. It's the vibrational reality. So now you're here in your physical body. You're adding to this vibrational reality. The question that we want to help you ask and answer for yourself is, how much of a vibrational gap is there between the things that life has caused me to ask for and the things that I believe, the things that I practice in my thought? And you can tell, two ways you can tell. One is by the way you feel. If you're joyful, there's no gap. If you're feeling appreciation, there's no gap. If you're angry, quite a big gap. That's one way. You can tell by the emotions that you feel. But the other way is you can tell by how things are manifesting. Because when who you are and what you want and what you think on a regular basis are in the same vibrational frequency, it's manifesting all around you. Others can see it and hear it and smell it and taste it and touch it too. It is a reality. It is a what is. It is a manifestation. You want to call it reality. It is real in the sense that others see it too. But we so want you to understand that before there is a reality, the way you want to call it reality, there is a vibrational reality. And that vibrational reality is filled with all that you have become and are becoming. And you have the ability, if you understand what we're talking about here, to close that gap and have what you want. We wrote this book called Getting into the Vortex. And you listened to us for a while about it with an enormous amount of patience, we thought, because we're telling you, just get in the vortex, get in the vortex. That's where everything you want is. And then you began getting a little feisty with us, demanding things like, how do we get into the vortex? And we would say to you, everything you want is in there. Everything that you want. Your lover is there. Your lovers are there. All of the money that you want is there. That new car that you want is there. Everything that you want is there. Everything that you want, everything that you have become in terms of desire is there. And then you began saying things to us like, well, okay, I accept that there is a reality. You wave Esther's arm around and you look at something that we can't see and you tell us that everything that we want is in there. So just tell me, Abraham, how do I get my money out of the vortex and into the bank? How do I turn this airy-fairy vibrational reality into reality that I can see and hear and smell and taste and touch? I want to drive it and I want to sleep with it and I want to spend it. I want the tangible manifestation. I want real life manifestation. I don't want to just dream all the time. And we say, we want you to have that real life too. And you are having real life. And the real life that you're having is a vibrational match to the thoughts that you're thinking all the time. We're just suggesting that you could, if you care about the way you feel, close that gap between your dreams and desires and who you really are and what you are allowing into your experience. So over time, we've expressed this to you in a variety of ways. And for the most part, you're up to speed with what we've been talking about. We tell you that you are vibrational, and you hardly ever resist that idea anymore. We tell you that this universe is managed by the law of attraction. The law of attraction manages vibrations. You can't set your radio dial on 98 FM and hear what's being broadcast on 101 AM. In other words, the frequencies have to match up, and if they don't, the transmitter and the receiver aren't on the same frequency, then the receiver doesn't receive what the transmitter is transmitting. It's just simple laws of physics, and law of attraction is exactly the same way. You can't set your dial on ornery and have lovely things come into your experience. They are different vibrational frequencies. So then we began to talk to you about your emotions and what your emotions mean. And we talked about the different emotions that you might have, all the way from despair all the way up to appreciation and love and joy. We began talking about the disc that you might be on, the spinning disc of emotion. If you're on the ornery disc, you're not going to rendezvous with people who are on the happy disc. It just doesn't happen. Law of attraction doesn't match you up that way. And today, what we want to say to you, because we know you've been following along with this to a certain extent, we want to give you the piece, the only piece that has ever been missing for you. We want you to understand that where you stand right here and now is what you've got all the time, now. There's never tomorrow, have you noticed? Tomorrow is an illusion. It will be eaten up by today. Today. Now. That's all you've got. You've got now. And what you do now is what matters, because all you've got is now. And what matters in your now is that you understand that you have two perspectives of now. There's the source energy perspective, source energy who stands right in the middle of your vortex with all that you've been asking for, holding the vibrational frequency of every bit of all of that. And then there's you and what you believe right now, what you've been practicing, what you're thinking about. And your point of attraction is about what you think about. It's about what you believe. A belief is just a thought you keep thinking. So where you stand and what you believe has everything to do with how much that's in that vortex that you allow to flow into your experience. So we began talking to you about your point of attraction, you in your human body. You stand right here and now. Where you stand right here and now, what is your point of attraction? What is the vibrational atmosphere that you have created? Are you ornery? Are you irritated? Are you afraid? Are you angry? Are you blameful? Are you guilty? If you're feeling those emotions on a pretty steady basis, that means you are holding yourself steadily in vibrational discord to who you really are and what you really want. And the thing that is so interesting about that is that if life hadn't caused you to expand, you wouldn't even feel the discord. In other words, it's not somebody else's idea of who you should be. It's not God's idea of who you should be. It's not your mother's idea, although sometimes it feels like it, of who you should be. It's your own internal discord. Life caused you to want to be this, but you're being this, and that's what negative emotion always means. As Esther was talking, negotiating, wrestling to the ground and killing last night, the really nice man across the hall who was responsible, who said that the fire marshal would not allow more than 400 people in the room. And Esther kept looking at the sign on the wall. It says 474 people on that sign. How can the fire marshal not let us have 474 people when the sign says 474 people? And he says, because you've got too much other stuff. And Esther said, but we always have this stuff with us. We take this stuff everywhere we go. We have a truck. We drag this stuff everywhere we go. We do this all the time. So as Esther is talking to this man, then he said, "What's your seminar about?"